Beth Schwartz. I'm the CEO of Cincinnati Union Bethel, which operates the Anna Louise Inn and has operated it since 1909. The Anna Louise Inn has always been a residence for single women. In the very beginning of the inn, it was built as a hotel for working women that were coming in from different areas. Were moving into Cincinnati to work, and it wasn't respectable back in 1909 for a single woman to live on her own. So the inn was a residence for those women that were coming to work.
I am Donna Stevens, and I am 53 years old, and I am here to talk about my time at the Anna Louise Inn. I was 19, and I lived there for a year. There was an ad in the paper, and I was working downtown, and when I saw the ad, I went there and visited, and it was just so amazing because at that point, the rent was $37 a week. I couldn't believe it.
The women that live here receive a housing subsidy. One of the requirements is that they have a disability of some sort, and that can be anything, right? It can be age is considered a disability if you're over a certain age. Mental health issues, many of the women here have mental health issues that they're dealing with. It can be substance use disorder, a drug addiction. It can be a physical disability.
For me, it was great, and probably for everyone it was great, but for me in particular, because I had the top view. I had the best view. I had the view of the river, of the stadium, of Lytle Park. It was very simple. The inside I thought was very pretty. It was very tall, and the architecture was really neat on the inside. On the bottom floor was the dining room, and you could always just go there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You never had to do dishes. I felt really spoiled. The key about the Anna Louise Inn, it was for women, so men were forbidden. And you could go down the hall, maybe in your pajamas or whatever, get ready for the day. But can you imagine doing that and there being men there? It was just so great. It was like a women's dorm.
The staff here provide a lot of supportive services. So they provide case management, really helping to connect them to different services to help them. They often try to help them find employment and connect them to resources like food and other essential care services, mental health counseling, all that kind of, all those types of services, and do a lot of life skills building, right? So many of them have been homeless and need a lot of help with budgeting and finances and helping them to learn how to live more independently.
It was a great transition from high school to being on your own and yet having boundaries. We had to be in by, I think it was 11. It was nice to be, had somebody was looking out for me and was expecting me back. I was able to save and then move on to other wonderful careers.
And it's really to provide 24-hour round-the-clock support. It's to monitor the front desk, so we're very careful about who comes in and out. We do a lot of wellness checks on the women, so the staff call up to the women, especially to residents who they know might be more at risk. We have a lot of women here who have compromised immune systems, so they check on them on a regular basis just to make sure that they're doing okay. We're on a bus line with a bus stop right outside, so many of the people that live here who don't have cars, which would be the majority of the residents, they utilize the public transportation, so that's convenient for them as well.
I worked at the Westin Hotel downtown, so that was like 5 blocks away. I had to wear, uniform shirt, skirt, heels. But looking back, it's like, wow, I kind of we're all targets, and I got off at 11 o'clock at night and walking home, there could be, all kinds of different little dangers that at 19 I was not aware of. I think, wow, I really had it nice and lucky to live there. I've always looked for a place that kind of duplicated that sense of security and comfort.
I can remember when we had flooding happened out in the lobby, and it wasn't very much damage, but it was dirty, and the women came down and were cleaning, and they very much feel like this is their community, it's their home, and so they joined the staff in trying to make sure that that everything was taken care of. So those are, it's rewarding when you start to see the community that can be be built here when that starts to take shape. I think the youngest person living in the Anna Louise Inn is probably like 19 or 20, and our oldest resident is 87. So we have a very wide range of ages here. Some women might only stay for 6 months, and some women have been here for almost 40 years. So there's no stay requirement. The way that women are able to find their way into the Anna Louise Inn, that if they just have heard about it word of mouth, or they're looking for subsidized housing, there are a lot of central phone numbers that they can call to find where subsidized housing locations are, and then they can just apply. So they can come in, and our front desk will give them an application. We have a property manager that can give them an application, and then some people who come to us directly from a homeless shelter. So there's a whole system in our city where people who are experiencing homelessness hopefully find their way then into a shelter for a temporary stay, and then within that shelter system they are placed on a waiting list for housing. And so sometimes people then are able to come here from that waiting list.
Just getting to meet a lot of fun girls there, and all their different varieties of life, all their different life situations, and it just, you got to appreciate, get emotional there, just like thinking of all the different people. But it was great. I met a really nice girl there, and we became roommates after I moved from there.
But at the end of the day, the impact that we're trying to make is all about creating an environment where the people who live here can reach a better quality of life, can increase their self-sufficiency, right? Their ability to live independently, successfully. For each of the 85 women that live here, success looks different, right? There's not one bar that anybody is trying to meet. It's really about what bar is it for that particular woman. So for some women, it's just that they were able to make it through the month on their income. And that's a big deal for some of the women that live here. For other women, it's about job training, being trained to get a better job and move out and move into an apartment building that's not, where they no longer need the housing subsidy to live. So our goal is just to meet people where they are and to encourage them to make goals that are meaningful to them, and then help them along that journey.
And I wish they had more places like that for people. That would be really neat. I would have highly recommended it to anyone that was looking for a place back then. It was always just a really nice place to come home to.